Morning, everybody. Morning. Good morning, wherever, whenever you are. It's good morning in the eastern coast of these United States of America, and we got a call to action this morning because unless you're living under a rock, you probably heard a hurricane went through uh, Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina, North Carolina, and we happen to live there. And Jason Murphy of the Martyrs Walk has one of those guys that think locally, act locally idea has stepped up and came up with this idea to be able to raise money to go up to pretty much like ground zero areas as far as he can to deliver goods. So, Jason, I asked Jason to come on and talk about this a little bit and promote what he's doing so we can gather more goods. But, Jason, good morning, welcome, and thank you for doing this. How are you doing?
Yeah, man. Steve, great to be with you. Always good to sit down and chat with you. Doing
So,
well.
I know here's the softball question. Why did you end up doing this? This because you got the big dog groups. Obviously, I don't want to use the four-letter word of FEMA, but you got these guys and other groups coming in. Why did you think there was? Maybe I wanted to do something, but I don't have the funds to be able to pull off a U-Haul right now. Why did you think about pulling this off and getting all these things and organizing this? Because you guys been doing this all week.
Yeah, this one is obviously there's a great need. Um, the government and what you're seeing on the media. They're highlighting some of the hard, big, well-known areas, but there are lots of little hollers and valleys up in the Appalachia that are just devastated, that aren't getting the attention. And whether it's just the hardest, largest maps on the or dots on the map that are getting that attention, which understandably, but there's a lot of folks that need desperate help that are just, it's not trickling down there yet. So let the big guys take care of the big areas, and the little guys will go in there and try and do what we can until that trickle down effect is felt to them. I felt sort of a call. I'm not really the one who kind of manifested this organization effort. One of our other brother martyrs who went through the Martyrs Walk, Logan Reed, he came up with it earlier in the week, and it hit me because I'm from Louisiana, and my dad, he was part of the Cajun Navy back in 2005 down in the New Orleans relief effort. He took his boat down, and now you've got a legit rescue operation going on, and there's actually even Cajun Navy guys up in the hard hit areas of Asheville and Western North Carolina right now. So I guess once I heard the idea that Logan wanted to get this effort going, I was all behind it, and just seeing what we can do.
Yeah, yes, was it yesterday, day before yesterday? I met a cop that was going up and back and forth with his, not with his family, but he's brought a family into the dock we were using, or we are using. He was still pulling people out of cars or abandoned cars up in the area. And yeah, you're right that most people that aren't in the know just see Asheville and Boone, but there's many other cities up there that are not in the news that are affected by this. Hendersonville, Brevard, obviously, Burnsville. People have been asking me about the monks in Burnsville. I have
Yeah.
got an email from people there saying that they are okay. They apparently, if you've seen on Twitter X that if you heard anybody doing texts about monks helping, that they are helping the locals in the area. Uh, the mountain they are on is already bad enough to get up and down on a good day. So when this is going on, they're just the only way to get up to that thing is on foot. So obviously they don't have any comms because again, Burnsville, nobody that's watching outside of you and me could find that on a map unless we guide them to it. So a lot of other people that outside the Asheville Boone area, they're not getting the like you said, the views, or people know what they've been going through. I mean, what do they need? What are you guys asking for collection wise to be able to bring up? I know, like you said, you're going up and back multiple days.
Yeah.
What's needed?
Yeah, obviously, the big thing's water. Water, obviously, that's got to have water. That's the premise of life, and and that's what's moving in a lot. We're seeing a lot of water, but there's also the everyday things that we all take for granted. I mean, just think about it yourself. I'm a neat freak. I gotta have, my teeth brushed and not, my, just the nice, clean little things. I mean, think of how much we take for granted just to be able to brush your teeth. So, toothpaste, toothbrushes, of course, necessities. You've got diapers for kids, baby food, formula, women, feminine products, that, all of these things that, when you think disaster, you think, okay, well, we need shelter, we need food, we need water. Yeah, absolutely. But, all these little pieces of life that, really can help out and just, help you feel, human again. It's, we all know the precept of, you can give a man a fish, or you can teach a man to fish. And, dropping off goods and all that, and food, obviously we need that. But, I know for me, I need to be doing something. I can't just have somebody deliver a care package on my front porch and just think everything's going to be okay. So, I know that there's a lot of folks that can't maybe even get out of their house, or their cars, may not have been, drastically destroyed or flooded, but, maybe they're blocked in by debris or mud. And like, man, just to be able to get your car out so you can go out and be a part of your own safety and relief. That's a big part, especially for men. We're not, well, we don't, most men, at least real men, don't want to sit around and just be taken care of. They want to be able to help and take care of themselves and their families. So, I mean, from providing those small little incidences, those little things in our everyday life, deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste, diapers, just go through your daily life and just think of what do we take for granted, and that's what we need. And then, of course, much of the effort that we're putting forth is just getting up there and getting some boots on the ground and some actual labor to help assist. Yeah, some of the places are just gone. They're off the map. But there's a lot of places that, they're going to need some help for a while.
It's funny you brought up the fishing part, because most of the people up there can pretty much fish and hunt, but they're still, like you said, need some of the necessities that they probably didn't have.
Yeah.
Can they the list you have on the website, the GoFundMe, will be in the link underneath. Obviously, I just put in the chat. Bottled water, non-perishable foods, water filtration, purifications, first aid kits, medical supplies, flashlights, batteries, etc., hygiene, baby supplies, blankets, sleeping bags, tarps, rope, temporary shelter materials, fuel canisters, work gloves, etc., unused. But can people like go on Amazon or something and have that mailed to you as a gift, or
yeah, that Amazon drop. If you go onto our Instagram, that's at the Martyrs Walk. One of the first couple of posts that you'll see still up there. We have a couple of drops. One is in Hempstead, North Carolina. That's sort of out east. And then we have a Charlotte drop. So that's where we're coming together tomorrow. We're bringing everything from Hempstead that's been collected. That is over at P&L Palms. So that is US 17 in Hempstead. So we had a big load there. That's being trucked down to Charlotte today to Mountain Island Fitness. So Mountain Island Fitness is just down kind of west of Charlotte, down Highway 16. We are, bringing everything there. And then we've had a local mover, Hornet Movers, has donated a 26-foot box truck. So we're going to take everything from Hempstead, everything from Charlotte. We're going to load it up in that truck. We're going to, convoy out and drop it off. We're going to Candler. I think it's Pole Creek Baptist Church in Candler, which we have a setup there. There's some guys already boots on the ground that are kind of facilitating and getting the main drop-offs. They've got helos coming in with supplies, and then just heading out, to the different locations from that safe area. I think tomorrow, we're rolling out maybe around 9 a.m. with that moving truck. We're going to have about 10 vehicles, 4 other trailers. We're going to have chainsaws, lots of fuel. That's one big thing. I mean, we got to get everything out there, and we got to get it all the way back, because, we certainly don't want to become part of the problem and get stranded out there. So having that fuel, to make sure we can, use the equipment and get the trucks back and re-up back in Charlotte, because we're going to make, a couple of runs on this. good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, we'll keep doing it as long as we can. I know there's a couple of churches that we're going to be picking up from. Just heard from the Cathedral of St. Patrick in Charlotte. They have a couple of loads from their school and from their church. So it looks like they brought in, looking at a post right now from their pastor over there, a bunch of diapers, baby wipes. That's another thing. Think about it. Just you're out there, you're sweating, you're working all day. You got to use the bathroom. Just to be able to wipe down. And those little things. Deodorant. It's going to be wet out there. It's muddy. There's going to be mosquitoes. We're bringing insect repellent, all those things that kind of get overlooked, everybody, and that's, it's hard to get everything, but obviously, everybody goes directly food and water, shelter. That's the first big three, but all these little things that precipitate down, we're going to need. So, that's it. You got it pulled up there. That's P&L Palms up in Hampstead, North Carolina. And then, like I said, the other location is Mountain Island Fitness out Highway 16, right there. So that's just west of Charlotte, and a lot of stuff out there. They've posted, I think today, we've got a huge amount of equipment going out there and supplies. But yeah, the fuel, if I don't know if people want to drop fuel. I know that we're needing canisters because as you get a little bit further west of Charlotte, it's tough to get gas. So a lot of that, is going to have to be brought back and forth. Empty canisters refilled here in Charlotte, brought back. Just a number of things to make sure that this effort, continues. And of course, if you can't, Amazon drop to one of those locations because that's a viable option. Just use the address of those two drop points. You could certainly just make a donation, and all of that goes poured right back into these relief efforts.
Again, if you just do it financially, here's the donation page. Again, it's in the show notes underneath in the comment section already. And if you weren't paying attention, here's the two sites Jason was talking about in Hampstead, North Kakalaki, and in Charlotte, North Carolina. The gym and the other location. You're going up to Chandler. You're talking about the Chandler, right? Directly west of Asheville.
That's right. Yeah. We're going to be heading out 74 to 26. Yeah. We've gotten good communication that we have a good route in. They're tightening down on security of folks coming in because, as you know, as many good people as there are trying to assist, there's going to be the bad factors that are going to go in there and try to take advantage of the situation. There's already been looters.
Yeah, I saw that.
That have hit.
One of the sheriffs. Did you see the thing about the sheriff that comes out saying, "Yeah, if you want to go out doing it, if you want to try this, we will come and fill you in with the coroner." Or yeah. Because as I told a Canadian friend of mine at the gym here, this is why you're okay in the South. None of that stuff's going to fly here.
No. And we're traveling. Yeah, we're traveling in a convoy, full of, current and ex-military guys. And actually, Joe Simmers, Marine officer who is leading up our convoy, he was actually deputized by local government or local sheriffs for 10 days for this effort. So, he can act in capacity, as a deputy for this effort to make sure we're protected and we've got access to all the locations. Because it's no pun intended, but it's the Wild West out there right now. It sounds in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So anybody that wants to go up individually or things like that, this is actually a better idea. You can actually help out without having to do the travel part and worry about any, I have Desperados in my head right now because you said that and the kids watch VeggieTales and
that's right.
Little Joe and the Desperados I took him. Anyways, yes, please. This is helping your local neighbor. There was a sermon on the holy protection of the Theotokos. If you not watching the channel, I got Byzantine and Eastern, Western Rite sermons up. So yesterday was that, and one of the messages he had was having the courage to help thy neighbor and love the great commandment, obviously, and who's your, don't hate your neighbor and love. And what kind of Christian are we if we just do this? We just play with the regular things and go to put our time card at the perish if we don't help each other out. So,
Yeah.
yeah, this is
And
something we all can do.
Yeah. And there's a really, it's very sad. It's devastating. I was talking to another gentleman yesterday who has a brother who's a Marine up there working now, and he's saying it is much worse than you'll see on TV. I mean, it is there.
Oh, sure.
There's bodies in trees. There are coffins that are popping up, and bodies, that have unearthed because of the moisture in the water. I know down in Louisiana, because of especially down in New Orleans area with the low sea level, everyone's buried above ground because of that water. And now, because of the saturation, because of the river levels, it has the same effect. So these burials that are, were, in the ground or have been unearthed. So
Yeah, I've heard that during Katrina that happened. And
yeah.
And if anybody's wondering how does this happen in a mountain, we'll think mountain and then valleys. And there's a lot of rivers up in our mountains, and that's why fly fishing, things like that. And I've been up, you've been up there. My territory when I was an assistant rep in medical sales was Asheville and all of Western North Carolina, and the beautiful areas there, and Weaverville. And I saw Weaverville got hit pretty good, and Morganton, and never went, didn't go to Boone until I met my wife. She went to school up in Boone, but to see Boone underwater on Main Street was
it's a mess.
But people were asking about Tweetsy, and apparently Lake Tweetsy now, where the parking lot is, which wasn't a big deal because it was all rock anyways. But that was just think it was in a big valley. Whatever you're seeing on TV, I'm sure Ground Zero is way worse, and especially in areas. But Father Barone sent a generic text. He's out further west, and they still don't have comms or power, but the damage isn't as bad apparently than you see on like in a Boone or Asheville area. And I wonder how Cullowhee is, or even out further Franklin, and because even those seem like even further in the valley, Chattahoochee area.
Anywhere along these rivers, the Broad, the Nantahala, the French Broad, all of these little towns and little areas. Hot Springs, that's a place we used to go all the time. Just a small little quaint town on the French Broad. A lot of little rafting community and hiking. The Appalachian Trail goes through there. It's gone. Those little towns just that are not on the map. They're wiped out.
And people might be thinking Bat Cave. Yeah, there's a town called Bat Cave.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, out anywhere. I also want to mention that we're not just a group of wild guys, vigilantes. This is well prepared and well planned out, specifically with a lot of military guys who have the logistics background and experience. But we're actually this is all really being coordinated from Candler area by. I just had their info up here. Preparedness Consulting Services LLC. So I'm not that familiar with them, but they've got like Starlink communications up there. So they've got good communications going on. They've kind of got a system of when things are being dropped out and being dispersed out. So it's growing. It's a growing community, and I'm sure if anyone's out there and they're looking to get in there, obviously with the right skills and ability, they can be plugged in, and they're certainly welcome to reach out to us. And we'll try and do our best. I know that run back and forth. I've heard some other groups of folks, they're doing 3-day turns because it's a lot. It's not just the physical wearing, it's the mental on really what's going on out there, as we mentioned, with some of the deaths and the cleanup efforts. So they're kind of doing some 3-day turns for their guys so they can get a break. But you got to be prepared for that. And I honestly, this is be, a lot more than I've seen, getting down into the depth of that. But at this point, I'm, which is really nice. I'm kind of just a drone. I'm going to be driving the box truck and heading back and forth. And sometimes it's nice to just be the drone and just go to work and not be organized. And so I'm very thankful for this group and for Joe Simmers, Logan Reed, who really are putting this thing together.
If anybody wants to join your convoy or help out that way, can they just contact you? What's the best way to contact you?
Yeah, you can find us, at the Martyrs Walk on Instagram. Shoot us a message, or through the Martyrs Walk website. You can shoot us a contact through there. Contact page, themartyrswalk.com. Like I said, Instagram, it works well. Seems to be where a lot of folks are finding out about what's going on. But
Someone asked me if there's a Catholic church in the vicinity. Yes, all up and down the Appalachian Trail, on every exit, there's a Catholic church.
mhm.
And also Boone. There's well, technically two, but one Blowing Rock, which had a tornado the day before this thing hit.
Yeah,
Uh,
Hendersonville.
yeah, Hendersonville, Asheville. I mean, every city has one up there,
Yeah,
believe it or not.
yeah.
Um,
So it's crazy. It's wild. Hearing new stories every day, seeing new scenes of things going on. Just unbelievable.
Also, someone asked if there's a priest out there. Are you in communications with any of the local priests in the mountainous area, in the Appalachian areas? So you going specifically to any of the parishes?
Yeah, so I know there's been contact with a couple of priests that had specific needs for their parishes. I think especially Hendersonville. Um, that's been one of the main points of contact, and I think there's been a couple others for sure. Um, but as we kind of get in and get our feet underneath us, or get a feel for the lay of the land, we'll certainly be reaching out and doing everything we can, make sure we're meeting those needs as best we can.
Give an idea of some of the places. There's like the creeks that weren't, you would never think they'd be that big. I know Tryon isn't it. They didn't get hit as bad, I think they're minimal damage if any. But if you drive through some of these towns, you're right next to these creeks and rivers, or
Yeah. Oh
the
yeah.
buildings are right next to them, and you
Yeah.
don't expect it to come up that high. And they said this with, I think in Biltmore area, they had 10 feet surge, I guess you say. I mean, I remember eating it at Moe's when I was up in that area all the time, and that thing's totally gone. But
Yeah.
you mentioned going with the 26-foot truck. You guys are going to do multiple days of this, because the 26er will probably get a couple. I mean, think about just the logistics of this. How much you could put on that thing, and how many days that would work. So I'm assuming multiple days.
Yeah, that's the plan. Just turn and burn. I'm thinking trying to get down there tomorrow. Be back in Charlotte. Early to mid afternoon with that truck. Depending on how much is dropped back off, we'll load it back up. I know a couple of churches have reached out about potentially having us swing by, grab their stuff. So we'll just keep it rolling. I think the moving company, Hornet Movers, has said that if needed, they could probably keep the truck rolling for us. They just don't have they don't have the manpower to kind of get it going. So that's where we come in. We're just we're going to take that truck. But a big thing again, it's the fuel. Those big trucks, they're only getting 8 to 10 miles per gallon.
Uphill.
And now you think about all the water. Think about a couple hundred cases of bottled water and fuel and whatever. I mean, we're concerned. We're gonna have to be doing some calculations to make sure that big truck makes its way back, and has enough fuel to get back. So I'm hoping. I think they have about 60 or 65 gallon tanks. You can do the math.
Uphill driving too, and you're burning even more.
Yeah. So uphill driving, that's gonna be tough. So we definitely want to make sure. Obviously, we can get to the destination, but making sure we can get back home as well. Chainsaws. We have access to a Bobcat. I think we're going to wait. We were talking about bringing that Bobcat this trip, but we kind of want to get a lay of the land and just make sure. Okay, is this an actual need, or let's focus on getting the materials and supplies out. And maybe as things kind of clear up, we can see, okay, well, we're going to need to use some Bobcat, or there may be heavy equipment up there already. We just don't want to, because again, driving, pulling a Bobcat, in a truck that's loaded down with water and fuel and supplies. I mean, it's going to burn twice as much fuel, especially going up the mountain. So we definitely don't want to become a part of the problem and get stuck up there, or, not have equipment that's unusable in the way.
Yeah. And just in case people think, oh well, the pros can do this. They just said that the I-40 out there will be closed for months for cleanup efforts. So
Yeah.
that's just a couple sections.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm sure they don't have enough people up there.
Yeah, I mean, every day I'm getting contacts from folks like, "Hey, can you go to this town?" Or here's a list of 5 different little towns that people are stranded in or need help. So the more we've been involved in this, the more it really just starts the hole just keeps getting bigger and bigger of how much is really needed up there. Another thing, just a really interesting part, and I know it's common sense and it's science, but around the areas, Lake Lure, the Catawba down to Mountain Island Lake, these larger bodies of water as the floods come in, obviously they're slower, so folks have a chance to kind of pack up and move out. But up in the mountains, think about gravity, and you pour a gallon of water down a stream or a small little crevice, 50 yards down that crevice, it's going to be going twice as fast as it was when you first poured it. And that's what's really scary. And it's going to gain momentum, it's going to gain mass. So these walls of water, I think there's been videos of people just with their phones, and this wall of water just racing down the mountain. We don't think about that. My kids were asking about that. How does that happen? And I'm like, well, at the beach, when you build your little sandcastle on the beach, and then a big wave comes in and it just wipes it out because that momentum, that speed, that mass, and that's exactly what has happened. In these small little towns that were on these moderate sized river systems. It's built up in the top of the mountain, and as it raced its way down, these
Throw in
small
mudslides, add in those mudslides as well.
just devastating. I mean, the power of water, gives it's such healing, it's such purity, the source of life, spiritual life, physical life, but it's also, such an amazing factor of the opposite too, if it's not either, contained, used properly, or respected.
No, 100%. So yeah, please, here's the link again, the GoFundMe. Again, it'll be in the show notes, links, all that, the Instagram, so it'll be underneath. Just go underneath, click, show more, and you'll see it. So again, financial help, assistance for gas alone, and any of the
Fuel. And the fuel's going higher and higher because it's running out up there. You can't even get it up there. So it's getting sourced from Charlotte. So supply and demand, and so the prices are going up 10 cents every couple of days, at least here around in the Rock Hill area, and even more so in Charlotte. So it's a double-edged sword. We got to get the fuel up there, but that cost just continually is going up.
Yeah, you got to strategize the usage just to get to the mountain, and then fill up before you get up to the mountain, and then make sure that they got enough fuel to get up to the mountain, and then come back down. At least you can kind of coast in a sense. Put the bad boy in neutral and let gravity take you down, but then you got to worry about the brake system.
Yeah, it's
always
something. We got to loading that thing. We have to make sure it's loaded properly. I mean, I had just 9 or 10 cases of water in the back of my truck yesterday, and that shifts really, really quick, and that can sway, especially on a top heavy big moving truck that way. So we
it'll be the unloading or using part of it will be much faster than the loading and driving up part too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's going to take some time to get up there.
So yeah, so you think it's just for the next day or so? No, it'll be going on for at least another week or so. At least another week or so.
We'll update the next loads, but again, we're leaving Thursday, tomorrow morning around 9. But that doesn't mean you can't make a donation and drop things off, or have it dropped by Amazon to the 2 locations in Hempstead or Charlotte. Just you can put that in as the address, or if you're not able to do that, we'll take the financial donations, whatever it takes. I mean, we're doing the Sam's Club and the Costco runs, grabbing the material and getting back out there. So whatever you can help, obviously prayer, and then, that gets thrown around a lot, but there also is really a big need for the prayer, for obviously for the folks affected, but for the guys, the men, the women, who are assisting in this relief effort, especially the ones that are going to run into some really difficult situations. They're going to see some heartbreaking situations. There's going to be, a lot of ugly things seen. So prayers for them, prayers for all their family that are being left behind. Every guy going up there is leaving somebody behind that depends on them. So, prayers, over those families as well. Just a big need for real prayer, not just thoughts and prayers that gets thrown around, on the news in our government, but some real deal spiritual warfare, laying down some holy coverage for us.
Yes, so I saw Samaritan. Someone kind of said Samaritan's Purse. Samaritan, they are in the area.
Mm-hmm.
Bless their little Protestant hearts. They are in the area. But here's the contact Jason. Here's his Martyrs Walk website. You see the contact information over here. So again, give him a holler if you can help contribute in any way whatsoever. And again, Jason, thank you again for pulling this together, and all the guys going through it. And yes, people, if you can go through, someone say go through your own food pantry and contribute or drop off areas if you're in the Carolina region, or if not, just use the link to ship Jason some Amazon gifts that you want to give up, or again, financial aid, and so that he can go make the purchases himself, or Logan too can do that as well.
Yeah, anything and everything appreciated.
I appreciate it, man. Good luck to you, and stay safe when you're up there as well.
All right, thanks for having us, Steve, and appreciate everything.
Cool, man.